Hello, how you doing? Again, we would like to welcome you to the NAACP Roundtable, always talking about important matters and pressing issues, and you know on the show that, we get heated and we're not afraid to say what's on our mind. First, I would like to get everybody thinking about Julian Bond, who was a great person, who did a lot of things for the NAACP and just people in general. And to my left, we had E-Man Omar. We know.
How to all my grandchildren, because I can't name them all because I got in trouble last time trying to name them all on the air. How to all my grandchildren, one in my house and the ones ain't in my house.
Okay. To my right, we have the president of the NAACP, Mr. Richard Smith.
Like I said, I was with Julian Bond this past convention in July. We all was together, and I had been working for him, trying to get him to come to Wilmington. And I had his personal phone number, we was communicating and stuff. And it seemed like God took him, but he was one of the leaders that kept the NAACP going. He always was willing to talk to us, so I'm asking people if they get flour to take it to the nearest river, the creek, Brainswine Creek or whatever, throw the flour in for him, because that's where they put his remains, back in the sea.
Okay.
I hope that we can tonight talk about issues and nobody are telling them. If our streets are dirty, if our kids are getting killed, jobs, education, we need to talk about women issues. Mm-hmm. Let's put it out there and let's put the truth out to the people so that people can start, recognize that we are for real.
Okay, to his right, we have Councilwoman Sherry Dorsey.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Mm-hmm. And the person shall be nameless because everybody knows who he is, Kamoko, doing a wonderful job down at the port. And a lot of people don't know the lot of time that you put in and the research that you do, and that you're really looking out for to make Delaware a better place. And
Thank
to
you.
the end, cousin.
Thank you.
How are we doing today,
I'm
Ms.
wonderful.
Stafford?
How are you?
Yes, you just finished the show. You're back on with
Yes.
us. We're so honored.
Thank you. I did it for Mouse. He asked, and I.
Yeah, all
And the sad part is I have no idea what the show is about.
Don't worry about
I'm
it.
here.
You join the crowd.
You got to speak your mind.
I had to text him and find out what was happening.
Okay, well, at least you know.
I got a little idea, but he done said something different than what he said in my
Okay.
text,
Oh, definitely.
except for
Jobs and that.
jobs, yeah, except for
Okay.
jobs, because I know that we got Kamoko over
And
here,
death.
yes. Yeah, I
If
know
we
that.
don't get jobs, we get death.
Yeah,
Okay,
You know what I mean? With our young
yeah,
folks.
yes, yeah.
Right, so mentioning that, let's talk about the port expansion and all the possibilities that the port expansion has.
Well, the possibilities are unlimited. The facility that we're talking about building, a container port facility, with the capacity to hire to move 1.5 million boxes of cargo, consumer cargo, will generate tens of thousands of jobs, and that's no exaggeration. I mean, if anyone anywhere looks at the researches the impact that these facilities have had, like in Baltimore, they built the same terminal like we're going to build in Baltimore. They built one in Newark, New Jersey. And the numbers are phenomenal in terms of the jobs that these ports generate, and it's easy to understand because most of what we wear, you look at your labels on the back of your shirts and your refrigerators, your televisions, your cell phones, they're always made somewhere else. They come into this country by ship at some port, and we're saying we want the ship to be docking here in Wilmington, and that would create the jobs to alleviate a lot of the social ills that we have, because most of the social ills we have, crime is related to poverty and unemployment. Education, the forum we went to down at the Chase Center that the Urban League gave, what they said was they found that the root of the educational problems that our communities have in terms of poor community is poverty. And how do you get out of poverty? You work your way out of poverty. By creating jobs, having a massive job creation program in which this port project represents.
One of the things that I know that you've done a study on, what is the percentage of shipping that comes here now, and what will it increase to if we get the port expansion?
Right now, we're a little more than 1%. And we're talking about the facility that we're going to create it would put us probably in the ballpark of being one of the top ports on the East Coast. I'm saying we would never get big as New York because New York is so big. But New York and Virginia have the bulk of the cargo and the containers that come up the Atlantic Ocean.
Correct.
You know, Baltimore has about 7-8%. 3 percentage points, if we got 3%, we'd be working 24 hours, 7 days a week.
And
I
the way-
mean, that's how much the volume
And
is.
the way it works, when you go to Baltimore, the rails in Baltimore work 24 hours a day. The longshoremen run the boxes that put on the rails. Then you got the ships come in. Then you got concept of what's in those boxes. Now, people don't know, when we say a box, it's a container. It's a container that either can take a car, or it can take watches, or it can take clothes, or a lot of ours now coming with bananas and meat and stuff like that. So it ain't like it used to be where they used to load the trucks. They load the trucks at the beginning, and they bring the containers, which is boxes, to the point of rest. This will become the point of rest for containers. He's talking about probably 40,000 boxes, right?
Hey,
That could be
you talk
stored
about-
on this piece of partial land with rails right next to it.
And then the easy access to the
Yeah,
highway.
95,
That's
right to
that's
or
what makes us
Delmore
attractive.
Bridge.
That's right.
Before 95 with Delmore Bridge that can go west, south, or north.
east.
That's right. That's what makes us attractive.
And I think
to the-
that's
to the
how
shippers.
Skinny and them got Dole and Chiquita to come here, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
of that
that was part of
access
it.
and
Yeah.
the low crime rate on the port
Yeah.
in terms
But
of
remember,
taking the
Yeah.
container, the whole container
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
the port instead of a box.
yeah, but remember it was a box that came in New York and Philadelphia would stay. It would take 8 to 24 hours to do one box. They call us the busy bee.
That's right.
So the box only took 20 minutes to discharge and write up, and an hour or 45 minutes, you back on the road getting out of Dodge.
That's right.
That's what makes us so special.
right.
The workforce is very trained and very professional and not playing to get that work out.
Councilwoman Dorsey, speaking about jobs, you know, in your community, what impact would that even have even in your community?
That's an excellent question. And one of the things I'd like to talk about is the simplistic fact that on yesterday, there was a grandmother who just bought a property in Browntown, sitting in her house. And this is broad daylight, and someone shot in the house while she's taking care of her grandchild. And the bullet went right above the crib. And so what does that say to me when we have young people shooting in the daytime? That says no hope. So we can provide opportunities through education and job creation, then maybe that person, whoever shot into my constituent's home, will think twice because they will have a job. They will have something to look forward to.
Right.
And then they won't be doing the things that are happening in the community. For instance, and another thing is, what is the holdup with these almost 14,000 jobs? That's the question. That's the $1 million question. Mr. Harris, would you like to address what is the holdup?
Well, the holdup is for some reason,
Say it again.
we've been getting and have got a lot of resistance to this project from, and I'm going to say it, from a lot of our top political officials, you know, who have set up all kind of roadblocks to stop this project from happening. What we need to move forward is $500,000, like seed money, to do an environmental impact study. And once we get an environmental impact study done and show the shippers and the investors that this is a clean carpet, the carpet meaning the land, you know, it's not contaminated, it's not going, if they invest in it, they're not going to be tied up in court for 4 or 5 years because of some environmental issue or something like that. And that we've been having a problem getting $500,000 when the Delaware Economic Development Organization has given away, there was an article in the paper earlier this year, over $200 million, you know, and very few jobs, you know, have resulted from that $200 million, which the article in the paper indicated that, you know, the trade-off has not been there.
Has
Well, I
the
think
Delaware
this- let me
River and
think-
Bay Authority
yeah, but
been involved in this?
Now, well, let me say this. The General Assembly gave up $250,000, right?
Yeah, 200.
200. And Harris McDowell, after we had this meeting, you know, the meeting we talked about,
Yeah, the meeting on the
All
11th.
ones-
Yeah,
Governor Jackson Morgan Harris came up with another $100,000, so we had 300 now. Phil Gregory pledged 150,000.
Yeah, from city
from
council.
the city, and we hope that we get 7 councilmen to get that 150. Then the remainder will come from Pedro Howell and Jay Spree, and
Yeah,
them
the county
would-
council's
would-
pledged also.
would give us that $500,000. It shouldn't have been like that. Again, they gave that auto center all that money. They gave a lot of money,
Yeah,
but
fiscal,
with this, with
25
politics,
million.
I say the way it is. It's politics involved on who's going to be the next governor, who's going to be this. So let's put a roadblock right now. But black people are dying. That's why I say death, jobs, and death. You know, if we don't
Oh, yeah,
get
it's
this
connected.
done, our community
It's
is done.
connected.
The streets is dirty.
It's connected.
No pride, no hope. You know, we are in such a situation that even the mothers is crying out for help for their kids and stuff. And that's why I have these young ladies on here, because we got to tell the truth, man.
Again, has the River Bay Authority, have we
Nobody
involved the
approached
River
them.
Bay? Because they got plenty of cash.
Nobody
Yes,
approached them.
yes, yeah.
Did you approach them?
We spoke with someone from the Delaware River and Bay Authority. You got to remember, the Delaware River and Bay Authority is governed by half Delaware people,
Yeah, and
half
half New
Jersey people.
Right.
And so to get everything passed, you're gonna have to get the Jersey delegates to support a project that ultimately is gonna be in competition
Mo,
with,
can you
with
tell them
the
what this
Jersey
picture
folks.
is?
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's been hard to get an approval for a project that's gonna ultimately, help us and not them.
Now, another question.
Oh, hold on, let's get
Okay,
this right.
go ahead.
Go ahead,
You know
Mo.
what I'm saying? That's a picture just to show you how, on what Sherry was talking about in terms of creating jobs for young people. We had a ship 2 weeks ago, it was a car ship down in the port. There's about 100 young people. This picture shows about 100 young people standing outside the Union Hall, trying to work, trying to go to work. That's why we said if we get this port project done, those folks will be working and they won't be in the street or on the corners. Because most of those young folks out there on the corner want to work. We just have not created the opportunity for them to work, because a lot of them have issues. They might have a charge or been in prison, so they can't go. But we hire them at the port. And I'm saying that picture speaks. I said a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Correct.
That shows the amount of interest of young folks that want to go to work. And those folks, some of them got hired, some of them didn't. The ones that didn't get hired, where they went? Back on the corner.
One thing
I
I'd
want
like
to
to
emphasize a point too, that publicly, that these jobs are not just for African American people.
No.
These jobs for all
no.
Americans. I know the 27
Oh, yeah.
years I was there, we hired a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people
Yes,
from a
yes.
whole
Well, but
bunch
that's,
of ethnic
but
Yeah.
you know, you understand.
White, black, Latino,
Latinos,
the
Native
port
Americans,
will
whatever.
thrive.
Yeah.
You need, number one, you need construction. You need hundreds of construction workers to build it.
Yeah.
You need hundreds of truck drivers. When these ships come in with these cargoes, they're going to go on. They're going to come off the ship. These boxes come off the ship. They either go on a truck or they go on a rail.
Yeah.
When they go on a truck and a rail, some of them go up and down the coast. Some of them will go to a distribution center in which GM ties in. That's why we've tied the General Motors plant into that. People are trying to stop us from getting the General Motors plant, but it's tied in strategically to this port operation, because it would be a distribution center that would be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doing what? Distributing the cargo. Let's say, for example, a box comes in from China with televisions. You got 20 pallets, 20 to 40 pallets in that box. You might have 10 pallets that's going to J.C. Penney's, 10 pallets going to Sears, 10 pallets going to BJ's, 10 pallets going to, Home Depot. So at that distribution center, that box would get to the distribution center, it would be unloaded, and the guys there would do forklifts and separation would have the pile for the J.C. Penney's, they would the Sears pile, and so then when the Sears truck pull up, boom, it gets loaded. The J.C. Penney's, and that's how the distribution center working house tied into the port. And like I said, the distribution center will be working 24 hours, 7 days a week,
And you
making
ever see-
good
and
money.
You ever see a distribution center? Okay, if you go to Philadelphia, where the meats and fish and everything, that's the distribution.
And I hope people ain't trying to block this because of our African American leadership of the port the last 50 years.
That's what I want to get to, Omar, because I talked to a boy, Muggsy.
Okay.
Muggsy always called me. He said, man, he said, there's some politicians downstate is saying it's a black port, but the problem is that it never was a black port. Okay, if you look at the state side, or you look at their side, Joey and them, it was always whites there, but we happen to outnumber folks. And our concept is that with the farmers come on board from downstate and Dover and stuff, we got to get around the table with all these politicians around the state, and we got to call them together and say, no, this ain't no black port. This is a port for people. It's a people port.
It's an American port.
And if you do,
Exactly.
if you
Exactly.
do, if we
Exactly.
do what we
Exactly.
had asked you to do, what we asked Elaine to do, Representative Lane and Representative Power, to put some money on the side for TWIC cards, for those who can get TWIC cards.
And they can pay them back
and when
after
they
they
go
make their
back to
job.
work,
Right,
they can
right.
pay $20 a week or $30 a week because it's only $129, and let them get their TWIC card. One thing we in the process now is organizing another pardon
Pardon process.
over to the
Yeah.
hall,
Yeah.
and we wanted to bring Wagner in and everything, and we want to begin to get these young folks and make what, I don't care what color.
Yeah, clean their records up.
Clean their record, because they got to forget yesterday and move on for the day. They can't let the ghosts of the past
That's
haunt
right.
them for the
That's
ghosts
right.
of the future.
That's why I keep saying on every show I've been on, it's un-American and unpatriotic not to support something that's going to benefit the total society.
Well,
And we keep using the circumstances as we discuss issues, but we don't use the law that applies to what we're talking about. And that's what I'm saying. Once we determine what a sentence in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, that are violating in terms of trying to put this project in order, that's what we need to start using.
The other concept why I got Shirley and Wing on is that the women's prison, okay? There's a lot of women that me and Kamoka, when we was coming up, we told Biden, they went up to Biden because they wasn't getting no job, and we put a plan that it would be one woman for every 10 men, and they would learn to lift trucks, they would learn how to do the crane, they would learn everything. It's there now.
Oh, yeah, a
but
lot
you-
of women
but you
working
got-
at the
But
port.
you got the females right now that's sitting out to women's
Look
prison.
at that picture, about 15 of them in that picture.
That got $50 bails, ain't got no place to stay. It's pregnant because some uncle or somebody in their house to rape them.
Or one of the guards.
Yeah, no, but this coming there pregnant.
Okay.
Okay, and they scared to go back home because they don't want to have their baby in a hostile society. And what we need, because I have a show coming up with all females, is the females need to voice their opinion about everything going on. You need to stop being a bunch of men sitting on the set
That's right.
talking things that we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know females. We don't know how they think. And that's why I begin to say, hey, we got to bring females together.
Because a problem I got in West Center City, I got a lot of young girls running down there prostituting.
Right.
Mothers in jail, father in jail, no place for them to go, and it really.
And we ain't got no halfway houses. We ain't
No,
got
nothing kind of, and that's, before we get off of here, I want to talk about that issue from the spiritual point of view.
Right.
Because, the church, the mosque, whatever we want to call it, what used to be our what you say?
Safe haven.
There. And for thought of what we're talking about. Because one other issue I want to bring up when we talk about jobs is that back in the day, the church and the sororities and all these other organizations all pooled our money together.
That Alliance, Black Alliance, you remember?
You know what I'm saying? Because these guys in these stores in our community of my faith, I don't think they need to be there because they disrespect my people.
Well, we need to protest them. We need to boycott them.
We need to get
We
them
don't
out of the
need to
neighborhood
play-
and some
Mo,
kind
you
of-
say something, and Ruth Baker say something unique today. Say, why every time they come in with $2 or $3 and they come to our neighborhood and they go to the pocket, they say, we got $2 or $3, we're gonna give it to you, vote for us, or we're gonna get, and we take that. And when they go away, our neighborhood's still in trouble. Hey, we got to pay back and get even. If they do something to us in this neighborhood, we gotta do something to them. We got to cut them off.
Go get into another thing I'm talking about. The leadership. The leaderships of our people have got to, what did Farrakhan say? He said, you got to man up.
Yeah.
Because if I get in trouble with this statement. We was better in Jim Crow socially and economically than we are right now. That's a hell of a statement to make.
But we
were
still in Jim Crow.
Yeah, and that's right. But our social connection was we all lived and respected our same community. You know what Bishop Morton said a couple of months ago, that we didn't have to go on the market street for nothing at one time. Right. We have lost all that. And so we have to once again, and again, I don't think the secular community can handle it. I think the people of spirit of God has to come together, put pressure on the secular community to put our resources together.
You know,
if we all put our money in one bank, keep it talking. If we all put our money in one bank right now, all of us that can think that,
but bring
think
a
that way.
black bank in from Detroit.
Whatever we have to do. But if we put our money in one bank and we all started to how he jumped up the other day when we was on the show talking about the thing. If we can argue on the air and let people see that we don't always agree on everything.
Right.
So when we argue about something in the past, it's been I don't like that so and so for 5 years. I don't like him for 10 years. We have to break that culture because that's an affecting our younger people. What's the thing that Donald got me doing? A reconciliation of Christians and Muslims to come together. Leadership. Why? Because our separation has a direct effect on the actions of our children.
But we also got the preachers right now.
Okay.
Y'all talking. We also got the preachers that they haven't did something. Pete DuPont started this. We thought we was the first one to start this racism report. Pete DuPont called for a study back when he was in office on racism report, discrimination, bigot, and everything else. Then it went over to Mike Castle. But when it got to the Democrats, it went away. This is where we are today. So if we are getting hurt in jobs or whatever, we got to speak up. How do we speak up? We got to get the Black Alliance, the major groups, the Urban League, the NAACP, the Longshoremen, the Coalition Black Trade Union, Black Ladies, and we got to sit around the preachers. We got to sit around the table. Then we got to go up to our community and we got to show leadership. Then we got to go out to our community instead of saying, well, they need to come to us. How can they come to them and most of them depressed? We got to go to them.
Well, let's talk about this for a second because you talked about building these alliances.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is once we build the alliance, we need to make sure that we're creating a farm team, just like in baseball.
We got the young black
And
professors too.
so you have a farm team in baseball. So when we have extended our time in these seats, you reach back into the farm team. We need a new pitcher. So you reach into the farm team to get a pitcher. You need a second baseman.
That's how Dave Street got here.
And so this is what the issue is.
That's how Gundy got here.
We, the elected officials, need to start creating this farm team such that we don't stay in these seats 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And we get innovative ideas. And then I'll turn this over to Ms. Dobbs.
Please, let's go. Yeah, because you're quiet.
Well, because I'm sitting here thinking, and once again, thank you so much for inviting me on. I want to say what Kamoko was saying is very true. I had the awesome opportunity of working for Tom Gordon, County Executive, and I know his heart is definitely for all people, as you say. And I know that Kamoko works very tirelessly coming up with things to make it work. And I had the opportunity of being at the event that was at the downtown Doubletree Hotel. And it was a Caucasian gentleman there who worked for the marinas.
Yes.
And he stood up and he said, I have no idea why y'all haven't moved forward with this. The unfortunate thing, as Kamoko said, is politics. And I think this is community crossfire, and we have to do it to death. But I would like for us to do a list of people who are for the port, politicians, and people who are not for the port, because election time is coming up very soon, and we need not to vote for those people who don't care about us.
It's called report card.
That's what we need to do.
And it's an ideal opportunity to talk
And then the
about
Corps engineer,
and engineer.
the Corps engineers stood up and said, we don't have no interest in this whatsoever. But it's one of the best ideas we ever seen. And we work and do what we can to make it happen. You know, but again, people of state of Delaware, the people are different community, the black community, realize that we pay taxes, realize that we buy goods, realize that we need a job and we need a piece of this pie because we always shove out that pie. And we wouldn't need to be a player at the table, not on the sideline. We ain't gonna get no place. And we need to say right now is that we can move ahead because we are not scared of them no more. They don't fear
Yeah, well,
us.
we got to
you know
tell
what I
them.
mean?
We got to tell them, look, we want this done, and if you don't support this, we won't support
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, when I say we want it done, I'm saying this project should have been started. We
should
should have
be
had
the issue
shovels
right
in the
now.
ground. We've been over a year arguing about something that is the best thing for the state of Delaware. There's bar none in terms of proposals for job creation. You lost Chrysler, you lost GM, you lost Avon, you lost jobs in Delaware City. There's no proposal bar none better than this proposal.
And it's crazy you said it because
You know.
the Wall Street Journal did a report saying this is the best thing for Delaware, and they don't
Yes.
understand. And
Yes,
generally, people
yes.
listen to what they say.
And it's un-American
That's it,
and
and
unpatriotic.
Let me tell you this right quick. I got a call from the prison. Young man one day was shot in his elbow. They put him in the infirmary. Somebody took him out where he had a cot. They put him on the floor. So he had clamps in his elbow and stuff. So I made some phone calls. And I got him back in the infirmary. But as I made the phone calls, the prison was built for 300 or 400, 600 people. Then they put expenses there, was supposed to be 1,100 people. They got 1,769 people in the prison. They got them sleeping on the floor. Then they got 85% black and going up, young black guys. Then they got the web center that they did some work on, can hold 110. They got 40-some people for non-support something sitting out there where they can put into the plumber house. And they can move 110 people to the web building. Then not only make it bad, probation and parole have put 30% of the young guys back in jail for a fine, for not being home on time, for child support, for stupid stuff that is out of their control.
Yeah.
But it
You
still
know what I
comes
mean?
back to, like you said, it all comes back to economics.
Yeah.
They need
Yeah.
they need to have the means to pay these fines. It's not like they don't want to
But
pay them.
probation pro's out of control. They out of control. They
Yeah.
doing stuff this to be. They breaking people's houses. They running around with the cops with them. They got the authority to do what they want to do. And if a guy go over to the probation office, we was there one time, and Hakeem came to me and said, "Hey man," said they treating us like a dog in there. So I walked in and found out, tried to find what was going on. Next thing you know, the big shots came. Hey Mouse, we're gonna take care of this. We're gonna take care of that. But why do you have to be a dog, or you got to be treated like a dog because you're on probation?
Because they don't think that we're citizens. I just got off WDL talking that with the captain I killed. They was the pastor of Trinity Church. He says we have to learn the dominant culture. We have not learned that we now have to we have to give up some of those rights that we've had all our lives to every American citizen in this country. And you know that I know that they got their little cliques in all the institutions, and we were talking about we're fighting institutional racism, and we're fighting the bottom part of it instead of the top part of it, because we're not addressing it as un-American
American
and
and
unpatriotic.
You know, Kamoko, Representative Smith asked me, I did a favor in supporting some bills that she wanted. NAACP did not me, but NAACP and my national president who came in. She asked me, what do you want? So she's on the bond committee, right? She's on the bond committee. She thought I was talking about money, right? I wasn't talking about no money. I say, I want you to work on letting every low-class felon out. I'm not felon, but prisoner out. If they got fines, if they got DUI, if they got whatever, let them out and give them to the preachers, give them to faith-based, and let the faith-based put them in the parks and stuff, and in the state parks, and let them cut grass and stuff. But let's clear it up. They cleared it up. 40% of the prison will be empty. It would make room for more programs. It would save money, because the money they pay for prison now could go to these different
Go to
programs.
education.
That's
And
right.
cheaper,
And
you know what I mean?
Educating
And
somebody.
she said, Mouse, she said, that's a hell of a deal. She said, that's a hell of an idea. She said, well, let's look at that. Well, I didn't go down to General Assembly last year at all, but I talked to JJ, Representative Johnson. I said, Johnson, I gave him the same concept. We need to put the bill on the table and find a way to get rid of those misdemeanors and stuff like that, and put them someplace instead of putting them in jail.
Why do you put a kid in jail because he can't pay his child support? What is the benefit of him trying to get any money to do if you put him in? We've been talking about this for years.
Or take his
Doesn't
license.
make sense.
Take somebody's license so they
Take their
can't get to
license so
work.
he can't go to work.
There are women who have suffered under these same auspices.
That's right.
Right.
Women who are under child support that end up in jail because they can't find a job and they have to pay child support. Now, what is the purpose of taking my license, man or woman?
Right.
What is the purpose of putting me in jail? All the fines are going to do is just increase.
Right.
So we have to come up with a better
And
system.
that doesn't make sense to
And
me.
so when you talk about the jobs at the port, understand 14,000, over 14,000 jobs. This will affect Laurel, this will affect Kent County.
That's right.
Because
Yes.
people in Dover will drive to Wilmington
They do
for
all
these
that.
jobs.
And they do now.
People
That's
will
right.
drive from Seaford for
Right,
these
they do now.
jobs.
They do
People will
now.
drive
They
from
do
Lewis.
now.
Yep.
They do.
So
That's right.
don't tell me that this is
That's
just
right.
a
Some come from
Wilmington
Jersey.
thing. This will happen through, this will
Exactly.
be a ripple effect throughout the entire state of Delaware.
And with
Right.
people making money, they buy
Right.
products. So
Thank
now
you.
we have
And then the
stores
spending
opening.
and economic development will be
Right.
at its best.
And that's the other thing I'm talking about, is that
Right.
if we can find the laws that they're using to do this, because they need to be reinterpreted, because the only people at the table that interpret these laws was them.
Well, the chief
That's
of
the other point. I'm really hot on this
well,
point.
Jim Omar, the chief of justice, we had a meeting with me and Dr. Morton, his mother and everybody, and he calls up to his office, and we had a meeting, and the first thing he said, and he was the only one, Harris McDowell said this too, that he wanted to define the laws on the books. He said, this, now stop talking about having a, what you call it, about races and stuff, bringing them in, and we're going to
Conference
talk,
and
no,
discussion
we're
on
going to
racism.
talk to them, and we're going to diversify. Stop having diversified. This is what this judge said. Stop having diversify. It's racism. He said, when I deal with this courthouse, it's racism in this courthouse. And I got to find a way to bring it to the forefront so when a black person or a Spanish person or a non-white person walk through this court, they will get a decent shake. Hey man, I look at this Chief Justice and say, damn, you in the 21st century.
But you know what? The way to get rid of that, judges should be elected to office instead of appointed by some party.
Yeah,
That's the
and-
other issue I'm
And
talking
you know,
about.
know what else we should
Let
have?
me open this up.
We should have a recall.
Oh yeah, recall.
We should have a
Yeah,
recall
yeah,
on the ballot. Who we
yeah,
don't like, we
yeah.
put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing that that you were speaking on, and I speak about this all. Two things. One, education. If we educate our younger people in school so they can understand government, the importance of government and their part in it, you'll have that farm system because they'll understand what's going on instead of when they need a politician at the age of 30, they don't have no clue at all what to do. And one thing I always tell people is we'll never change anybody's heart. We can talk about this all day. We're not going to change their heart. But we can change is laws, policies, and procedures.
Let me tell you that really get to me. I want you young ladies speak on this. I had an African brother came to me, and he got a nursing school, and they had 3 black nursing schools. The Africans had, they closed down 2. And this brother came to me, and they said they came to him, and they he had 80 people down. He's down to 30, and they started challenging his curriculum and stuff. And they said they said that he needed to reach A on his GPS and all that. And his students started reaching A. And since a brother who was in charge of it, went to this board of nurses and got on her case about the way that he was treating stuff, they upped the GPS to 9. And he said his student reached 9, got 91, 92. Now they're ready to close them down. They never gave him a chance to have a pill or nothing. They gave him a chance to talk at the pill. Why are we letting our black schools be closed down, especially a nursing school? He said, Miles, he said, I can get the grants for them, everything. I will come to Wilmington on 3rd and Clayton, 22nd Pine, Belvedere. I will come and begin to recruit these students and stuff and get them the grant to be nurses. He said, but University of Delaware didn't reach it. They 43%. It's supposed to be 80. Wagner is 43%. Delaware State is 43%. Del Tech is 50%. Manpower down by Howard is 32%, and they ain't being closed up. But my school, they want to close up.
Politics.
Racism.
Here we go again.
Racism. Institutional racism.
But
Same thing I'm talking
Something
about.
wrong with that.
Yeah, because they don't. Because you know, when I talked about old man Latham when he was here, I loved him when I first met him because when he had an idea, he put his money on the table right away, like we do, like we always do.
Well, this is what Latham doing now, and Child's Power. Charles done dug in so hard with Kamoka on them, and Latham it is deep. You know what I mean?
That's why I want the people to know that we are trying to put organizations together to come up with our own economics because we spend what $12 billion in this economy. Now we know that's some dirty money and some real money, but at the same time, some way, and it's all dealing with trust again. Because when we did the 1993 massive voter registration, that's what I want to get to.
Right.
All these issues that we're talking about in terms of jobs and whatever else, we need to have everyone in our community, every sorority, every church or whatever, we all need to have this massive voter registration and education project that we did in 1993. Now you said something. You said something about education.
Yeah.
Sherry said a thing. Educating our children about the political system. I think that's our responsibility.
It is.
You know what I mean? We must be the ones. Since that 4 school districts came into existence, the whole black experience of I call it the Underground Railroad mentality has been absolutely destroyed in this town.
Well, and Jay Spree and I talked to Victor Good. He's our lawyer, and he's in charge of politics and education for the nation. He's coming here in September, okay? And he's going to get with Jay Spree, and he's bringing some California lawyers. You want to talk about some California lawyers and lawyers that sue the school district, that get the black folks their share.
Yes.
And we are in the process of having a revolution in the state of Delaware because we are, as long as I'm in charge, maybe they get rid of me. As long as I'm in charge, you know, we're going to change it. Revolution says
that's right.
change.
It would not be
You know,
televised.
but one thing I think I want us to leave with this. A. Philip Randolph said, "At the banquet table of nature, there are no reserved seats.
Exactly.
You got to take what you get, and you got to hold what you got. If you don't take nothing, you ain't gonna get nothing, and if you don't hold nothing, you ain't gonna keep nothing. And you can't take nothing, and you can't hold nothing without organization."
That's right.
That's what he said.
Right.
That was A. Fuller Randolph.
Here's the thing that just really concerns me. When you have, and you talked about this, spirituality. When there is a lack of spirituality in our communities, you see what happens. It doesn't matter if someone is Christian or Muslim.
That's right.
What matters is the heart of the man or the woman.
That's right.
And so, like you said, we can't change the heart, but there is a higher power that can change
That's
the
right.
heart. And so we need to be praying over our city. And yeah, a whole lot of people will say, well,
But we
prayer,
can change the heart.
but we can change the heart
Because
through
my heart
prayer.
would change,
through
his heart would
prayer.
change.
And the other side of it is education.
Yes.
Now, our children are sitting in classrooms that have 50 children in a classroom
For a long period
for a
of
long
time.
period of time until this little old angel on the Education, Youth, and Families Committee said to the Secretary of Education, or asked, "Are you aware that there are 50 children in the classrooms?" Next day, partitions went up. But the other side of it is the partitions went up, and 25 of the students were with a certified teacher, and the other 25 were with someone who was not certified. So still, the 25 that were on the other side of the partition were still not getting a quality education. So we, the elected officials, we, the people, have to go into these schools and see what's actually happening. Because the easiest thing to do is sit outside and talk. The hardest thing to do is volunteer your time and do something for our
And the
babies.
reality is, a lot of people don't know, because I did it with my son. You can go up to the school and talk to those people. Because what happened with my son, they tried to railroad him, and till I sat down and I talked to him, and they didn't realize I knew what I was talking about, and everything changed. And if parents, if you don't really know or you're not comfortable, there's a lot of people out here that'll go with you and help you walk through the process, because every child deserves a quality education.
Can I say this?
on, baby.
We keep talking about racism, And unfortunately, it is racism, but us against each other, we have to stop that as
Exactly.
well.
Racism too.
Right, but
That's
I'm
reverse
saying a lot
racism.
of right. That's what I'm saying.
But
So
it's
I'm
still
not talking about the
racism.
black
It's
on white.
racism.
I'm talking about the
Black
black on
is
black.
racism.
There's black leaders that's against black leaders that
Yeah.
don't want somebody to succeed because enough they want, everybody wants to get the credit for everything. So I think that our mindset needs to change
Absolutely.
in order to make things happen, and that we all need to come together to be on one accord,
Yes.
to make things come to fruition.
And even if we don't agree on everything, we can agree to disagree.
That's right.
But we have to, as Mr. Dobson just stated, we have to work together and understand that the pie is very large.
That's right.
And right now, all we're getting is crumbs.
That's right.
We aren't getting slices of the pie.
That's right.
So at some point, we have to recognize and realize that we work together, we get far more done.
And a
A
lot
lot
of
people said, "Who taught you how to hate yourself?" Because all that Raina just said is self-hatred.
Yes.
Well, like I said, when me and Mouse still I talked about Brother Biden about that. I said, but I wanted to show the people that me and Mouse don't always agree on everything.
we love each
You know what I'm
other.
saying? And our
We-
children
we
got to
might
see that.
disagree.
We ain't gonna get up here and say, I'm gonna
If we
shoot
agree
you
on-
when you go outside.
You know
'cause
what?
you're different
If
with
we
me.
agree all the time, I would think that you'll kiss and your Uncle Tom. Don't agree with me.
That's right. That's
Hit
right.
me.
That's what I said.
If I'm wrong, hit me side my head and make me right.
That's right.
But you know what? Ms. Dobson made an excellent point. And the point that she made, and we really need to take hold of this, is the working together.
That's right.
Until we start doing that, like she said, so many people in our own community won't work with one another because something happened 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Let it go, give it to God so that we can make our community
Absolutely.
whole. Because this black on black crime, what's the difference in what's happening in the streets and what's happening in the political arena?
right.
What's the
Because they
difference?
see it.
We're fighting with pens
Right.
and they're fighting with guns.
They
I
see
think
it.
that's the only difference.
I went and brought some on 5th and Scotch. That guy was having a little cell out in front of his house. He said he's moving out of town. He's going to the beach. I said, why are you going to the beach? He said, because the city under control. I said, beach under control too, because our quality controls the beach. If you don't do what they say, then you got problems, you know what I mean?
And that's why I hate
But
the-
let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
So as I went, we kept on talking. I say, "Are you all right, man?" He said, "I'm trying to get a job, but I got in trouble 8 years ago and this and that." I said, "Brother, let me tell you something. Let's put the past to the past. Here go my card. We're gonna give you a pardon. We're gonna give you a twit card. We're gonna make you whole." And it was a guy named Lemon who run the Italian club around on Lincoln Street. Lemon know me, okay? I told the brother, I said, you go talk to Lemon and ask Lemon how I am. I want to make you whole. NAACP ain't about shutting white people down. We want them to be this evil. We want to be even across the board. We want a piece of the pie. We want the Rainbow Coalition, that everybody be right, you know what I mean? And the brother thanked me and stuff. I said, now call me. I told this woman, I said, now call me, because we're going to make you whole. And the white brother say, thank you, Mouse. You know what I mean?
But you know what? We go black, white, but what we need to, we have to have these conversations about black on black crime. And we have to be honest about it. Because while our young men, and let's be real, it's really our young men, our young ladies are suffering too. But the man is supposed to be the head and not the tail,
Say that
according
again.
to the word.
That's right.
And so
That's what he was telling you when he
I
came
know what
in.
he said. So until we return the man at the helm of the household, we're going to continue to have the issues that we have in our communities.
Absolutely.
This black on black crime is major. We can't just protest when a Caucasian officer kills an African American child.
And we do it every day.
Children are getting shot in their own homes by people who look like them. People's homes are being shot up by people who look like them, and yet we're silent. We don't say too much about that, but we have a whole lot to say if it's a Caucasian
And
officer.
I'm glad that you said that, because the one thing I speak on is our society now has went from right and wrong. It's become, if enough people do it, it becomes acceptable.
Exactly.
And like we said back in the room, certain zip codes don't have these issues because the people who live there don't allow it.
No, they don't.
And
What's that zip code out on 40 acres?
But
You don't have that issue.
you know what I've been telling people? They label it black on black crime, but white kids killing white kids. Native Americans are killing Native Americans on the reservation, and the Latinos are killing each other with drugs.
Right.
So it's not a black on black issue to me. It's an American issue. Because, and I told the Caucasian people, remember that? America was founded on racism.
Disagree on that
I mean,
because
on violence.
I'm going to Chicago. I told to a black on black summit, and the reason why I'm going there because it was 62 blacks killed in one weekend. So they're gonna start in Chicago, NAACP.
Yeah.
And right now it is black on black, and when white do theirs, it's gonna be white on white.
Right, and I
You know
agree
what
with that. I'm not
But-
disagreeing with
But
that.
let's not get away from that because till we travel to the big cities and we see what they do. Philadelphia having record killings up there.
Right.
Every 2 hours and stuff. Okay? Philadelphia got the same problem we got. The only one kind of cool, Chester got the same problem. So Camden, the only one kind of cool a little bit. But why go to this black on black crime? Ask Mayor Williams to send somebody, Executive Tommy Corden, and different people. Some people go with me. You know what I mean? Richard
Welcome to the
Dyke,
NAACP
I
roundtable.
want young people to go. So when they get into this meeting and
on.
this town
Hold
hall
on.
meeting afterwards, it'd be cool.
All right, state your name and your question.
It's Russell, and I want he said that the other time he was on, he said that the police don't try to solve crimes in our community. So I wanted to ask about that.
Russell who?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Can't hear him.
Yeah.
Speak up. We can barely hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, speak
Yeah.
loud.
Okay. Yeah. I want to ask. I'm in law enforcement, and Mouse said one time that the police don't want to solve crime because if they wanted to solve a shooting, all they had to do was pick up a bullet and read the serial number off the bullet, and then that'll tell you
I didn't say that way.
what who the boy. You did, and I watched you.
Let me tell you what I say. I say what we need to do is put the bullets and put serial numbers on it, the slugs. And once we put the serial number on the slugs, then we can get them out, and then we can follow the person who brought the slug with the bullet.
Yeah, that's not possible. You can't do that. But when you put information out there instead that you're telling the truth, you don't know what you're talking about, and you don't sound credible. I've been in law enforcement for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about.
Again, I say the slug. It is possible because I talked to some folks say it is possible to put a serial number on a slug.
Well, it's the part that goes
Yeah.
in the body. You don't know what you're talking about, and you come out and you say.
Well, you can say what you got to say. I got to say what I got to say.
Law enforcement has been a part of the problem why all this is happening because they don't want to listen to people in the community. So if you've been there 20 years or 30 years, my
You will
friend
solve
is
some of those problems.
my friend is Captain Akil, and Captain Akil has helped me to reduce crime in this community for the last 32 years.
Hey, down to beg somebody to tell me their name, and he got
Turn it up. Can you turn it up?
Can you
have
hey,
the volume?
can you speak up, please?
you weren't there.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying,
Go
can,
ahead.
can the telephone be turned up?
What's up, as loud as it
Go ahead, Brother Wilson. Can Brother Wilson call back?
Yeah.
Is he still on?
No.
But let me say that I think there's one thing that we can say that we can all unite on. We know we need jobs.
Yes.
Right.
We know we need jobs, and I think that's the point that can unite
We only got 3 minutes.
all segments,
Yes.
white, black, Latino,
Let him go ahead.
whatever, that can unite us around
NAACP
this
roundtable
project.
may help you. Speak your name. Hello?
Can't hear.
Hi, my name is Shakila Wise. I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to know, my name is Shakila Wise.
Go ahead, ask your question.
I want to know why is black on black crime is killing each other when they should be out here. I want to know why is black people killing black people when they should be out here helping the kids in the community instead of teaching them how to kill each other. They need to do what they got to do and step up and be a good responsibility for the kids out here.
That's an excellent question. I would like to address that because I feel that part of what's happening in the community is it goes back to education. Our history doesn't start at slavery. In the history books, teach our children that we started at slavery. We were kings and queens. And so until our children know their self-worth, they will continue to look at someone who looks just like them and be willing to shoot. Whereas if we know our self-worth, it'll be very difficult to shoot someone who looks exactly like you.
Okay, we have 1 minute, so we're gonna do real quick. Anybody have any closing comments?
No, just take the last one for 1 minute.
Okay. NAACP Roundtable, state your name and your question.
Hi, this is Pastor D. Enjoying the dialogue.
30 seconds.
I just want to make two statements, Brother Miles. The caller, the policeman who was obviously offended, that was a perfect opportunity to do just what you all have been saying you needed to do, which was defuse the arguments between black leadership. Somebody has to humble themselves and respect somebody else's opinion.
Absolutely.
And to the
You're right.
point,
You're right.
wait a minute, to the point that Cher's made about black leadership, I know that I have been, black leaders are the only ones that have refused to work with me. The little people don't do that, the people that need help. But it's black leaders who have put their mouth on me, black leaders who refuse to work with me. And so we get hurt and feel blackballed, and we just go and serve the people. So the most powerful point that's been made is how black leaders treat one another, and then they expect the little people in the street.
All right, our time is short. Thanks for your comment. We'll have to get you on the show, sir. Okay, it's time to wrap it up. I would like to say, in order for everybody to move forward, nobody has to agree with what everybody's saying all the time, but we all must move forward as a group. That's the only way this is going to happen. It's great to have dialogue where people don't agree, because it makes people think more and state their statement. And Mr. Wilson, you need to come on the show and talk about
Officer Wilson.
Okay. Once again, we'd like to say the NAACP Roundtable will see you on the second Sunday of next month, 1 p.m. Peace.